Crypto is getting super hot lately, but it's important that we don't shy away from the gems, from those low cap coins. So today we're going to be looking at some low cap coins that I'm really excited about going into this bull market and in DeFi in general. So first I want to take a look at DOT. DOT has obviously moved to around 23 cents, the 23 cent mark, which is incredible. I entered a trade in DOT at around $20.70, somewhere around that range. So obviously we're up a little bit on DOT, which is nice. Again, I'm very, very bullish on DOT. I don't want to shy away from DOT, even though we have that Cardano hype. Everyone's on that Cardano game. Get more ADA. I get it. I totally understand. But sometimes you have to look at the projects that haven't ultimately pumped so much. ADA so far in my portfolio is up almost 300%, actually a little bit more. And DOT is around 150%. So obviously DOT hasn't moved as much, but I do think DOT could be in the multi-hundreds. I do think we can get a $200 DOT. And keep in mind, guys, that DOT fixes a lot of problems that is happening right now in the DeFi market, especially with ETH gas fees. You all know, if you've used Uniswap before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You cannot justify paying $30 to $40 per transaction. It doesn't happen, not for the average person. I totally get it that if you're investing in something, you're hoping that it goes up and you might make 10 or 100x, but at the end of the day, regular people just trying to throw in a couple $100 that don't have a lot of money, come on, like really, you're gonna scalp them $30 every transaction. So if I'm putting 100, I'm actually only putting 70. Sure, that can go to a couple thousand, but that's price potential gone. So if there's a better way to buy it, always look for the better way. Fees are outrageous. Even if you're using Coinbase, guys, stop using exchanges that charge you a ridiculous amount of fees. It's money out of your pocket. Obviously, if you're worth a lot of money, you don't need to watch this. You don't need to know about this. But the average person, people like me, we need to know this. We need to know that we need to save money where we can. So save it in the fees. And Polkadot is going to solve this problem. We're going to talk about that in this episode. So one thing that you could do with your DOT actively right now, you can either stake it on Kraken, you can stake it yourself through the Polkadot system and run a node and a validator, or you can stake it in Binance for the new Launchpad projects. So we'll take a look at some projects here. So we have Launchpad up. We have the current one going is lit. So it's lit, some sort of aggregate. I'm not exactly sure exactly what the blockchain does. I looked into some of the specifics and the distribution looks good. It looks like a good project. And, you know, I can't see Binance just hosting a crappy project. So I assume that there is good in it, but I haven't looked into enough to shill it quite yet to you guys. But hey, if you want to earn 9.3% yield on that, and sure, it's not as much as staking your DOT, but you could. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because previously, and we missed out on this, guys, is Reef Finance. And we just talked about this in the last episode. Reef Finance did a Binance Launchpad where they were offering 12.7%. And if you're staking in Kraken, that's more than Kraken. You would have made more than Kraken, and you would have made it in Reef, which Reef is doing insane. So let's go ahead and switch gears and talk about Reef Finance. I'm really excited about Reef Finance. It's a great project, and we're going to talk about it. KSI obviously pumped Reef Finance, but that's not why we're getting into this. We don't go into the hype. We don't let emotions run us. We go by the fundamentals, all right? And obviously, you guys can see my cat intentively looking at it. She's just as curious about crypto as all of you guys are. Okay, so the obvious market cap is, or the circulating supply is pretty high, 2.4 billion. Now, if you asked me where this price could go, where we could go, I think for a blockchain like Reef, providing liquidity and really providing DeFi services to the average person that doesn't want to learn DeFi. It's more of like an AI farming system where it'll seek out the yield farming for you. Essentially is what the platform says and what it says it's going to be. I don't know that that's what it's going to be. I don't know that the project is going to succeed. Everything is risky. You have to be ready to accept some risk when you're going into projects, especially low caps like Reef Finance. But I'm really, really excited about the product, and I think it's going to be really helpful and explosive in this space. So if you can get in now. And obviously we only have a little bit of data, roughly a month, but we've made some great headway. And I do think we could see a $1 Reef. I know that's lofty, but at $2.5 billion, we don't even have a Polkadot chain up on the top 20 yet, just Polkadot. So once we have these subchains activated and once everything is flying with the Polkadot system and we have decentralized exchanges, I think it's going to make incredible gains for everyone. So I would not shy away from Polkadot subchains. Absolutely not. As long as the project is good and it's reliable, I think you're going to make a safe bet. I will also mention a couple others. We talked about Ocean, we talked about Ren. A big one is Polkacover, which I am personally going to bite the bullet and pay the ETH fee just to pick up some Polkacover. Damn you, Uniswap! But we're going to look at exactly how Uniswap is going to go away, and we're going to talk about that right now. Is the Polkaswap DEX. This is the decentralized exchange that works on both Polkadot and Kusama ecosystems. This is going to connect everything. We see Polkadot wrapping tokens and everything else. We're really working towards this decentralized exchange, yield farming, and everything without the wild fees. So Polkaswap is going to be something that you should look into. It's definitely something that's on my radar of what I'm looking into, and I will absolutely be looking into getting some Pswap tokens. So let's look at the overall system, and you can see the testnet is live. I've loaded into the testnet. I've played around a little bit, but I don't know exactly what's working or not. So I'll have to look into it a little bit more. But obviously the layout was almost identical to how Uniswap and Sushi is. So the testnet is live. They're coming out with a full decentralized exchange sometime in Q1, hopefully. So I haven't heard any delays or anything that is stopping this. So Polkaswap mainnet launch in Q1, and then we'll have advanced features coming in Q2, and I assume further advancements from there. You can definitely check the full roadmap, but I do want to make sure that you guys are aware of this project coming down the pipeline. Now, another thing on top of that, you might ask, and I asked the same thing, how do I get me some of this Pswap token? That's the thing that's a little bit crazy, a little bit harder to do. So if you're not familiar with providing liquidity on Uniswap, this is probably something that you shouldn't do. I may do a video on it because I do plan on providing liquidity. I just don't have a lot of liquidity to provide. I have a few ETH kicking around. Most of my ETH is being staked, so I'll have to buy all new crypto. But my trading pair that I'm going to be doing is Zora and ETH. Zora or Sora that you have on the screen here is a decentralized, trying to be a decentralized bank that works to fund these exchanges and provide aggregates and provide connections to fund liquidity. So sure, I see the value in a project like this. It's exciting. I'm excited for it. It runs on Polkaswap and everything, but you know, my main thing right now is the Polkaswap token. So getting this provides me a APY yield, and I get Polkaswap from that yield. So you can also farm if you connect your wallet and do all of that. If this is something that I do go down, I will be sure to make a video of it. I won't leave you guys out, but this does take a little bit of knowledge on how to provide liquidity on exchanges. So it's not really for beginners. And again, everything's risky. You take your own risk and you do what you need to do for your finances. The big thing that I want to mention here, guys, is that DeFi is going to be huge. It's going to really dwarf what we saw in DeFi in the last bull market for DeFi. I think it's going to be incredibly insane. Now, just be aware that there's going to be scams and there's going to be rug pulls, and you're probably going to lose money. I, fortunately, have been fortunate enough to not lose anything yet. And I am planning for that inevitable day where I get phished or scammed or rug pulled or hacked or something happens, and it's going to happen. The best way to avoid that for you is make sure that everything's spread around a couple of different services, cold wallets, hot wallets, services that pay you APY and interest. Don't keep everything on one area. And obviously do your own research when you're investing in certain projects and make sure that you're not falling for phishing scams. The same thing goes down for the comments below. If you see me trying to get you to text a WhatsApp or a number, or anyone giving you any sort of contact off platform, do not reply, just report them. Do me a favor, report them. I go through the comments and obviously I kick out the scammers. The reason why I'm saying this, guys, and I know the average person probably doesn't click on them, and I get that, but the reason why I'm saying it is because they wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't working, and I would hate to hear about one of you guys thinking that you're talking to me and getting scammed. So please be careful in the comments. If you're talking to me, you're talking to me through my Discord that you can get in the description below, and through Twitter, so at Haas Hodls. go follow me there. In terms of ADA, I don't want to leave you ADA bulls out. ADA is going to do incredible things for DeFi. I fully expect it, but we know that ADA moves slow. So will they be in time and as nimble as Polkadot and Kusama are? And again, if you've been sleeping on Kusama, don't buy Kusama. Buy Kusama. Just buy it. But for now, for DeFi, I'm a little bit more bullish on DOT's perspective. I do think ADA is going to do well in this market. Don't get me wrong, but I do think DOT's going to bring DeFi to the average man. If you guys have any questions about DeFi, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know, and then maybe I'll make a video about it. If I can just answer it in the comments, I will do that for you and explain things a little bit better. I understand that DeFi is not super easy to understand when you're first learning about it. Tomorrow we are going to be updating our crypto portfolio, and we're actually going to be adding $400 USD. So make sure to watch out for that tomorrow evening. And I'm thinking of potentially going live on Friday, 8 p.m. EST. I'm not 100% sure, but at this point, I'm 99% sure. So it's basically going to happen. But we are going to go and talk about some alts that you guys have, because I get bombarded with questions about so many alts every day, and that's great. I love it. I want to get exposed to all of these projects that I don't know about, but I want to set up at least 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours, and we are going to deep dive into alts that you guys bring to the conversation. I'll bring a couple of mine, we'll go through mine, and then we'll go through whoever trickles in, and we'll go look at some of those altcoins. I'll show you how I value my altcoins, and then maybe you guys can give me some tips on how I can better increase how I value them, or maybe you guys can take away something that you can apply when you're looking at your altcoins and your gems. And one last thing, I am trying to upload every weekday for now, tentative, I hope. So don't shoot me if I don't, but I'm going to try to keep up to a schedule and do it every weekday, possibly sometimes on the weekend. We will see. But go ahead and like the video if you want to see more. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope to see you at my portfolio video tomorrow, and happy hodling.